engine noise. I don't know if I was in the M mode. Yeah, I was in the M mode here. Where things really change a lot is that if you press the M button and you go for the track mode, active track, and here you have a lot more, gargles, bubble from the exhaust, and the car is a lot more lively. Okay, but let's not jump to conclusion too fast. We're gonna get for a long test drive here, and I'll try to give you a lot of different feedback impression for this car. Okay, so we are now on board with the BMW M3 G80 version. As you can see around me, it's extremely flashy. We have the light blue interior with the fluorescent yellow accent. It's not for the faint of heart. And not only you have yellow stitching everywhere, but those bucket seats are absolutely outrageous in terms of their look, with all the carbon fiber part visible in the back, which looks like those carbon fiber seats you would get in a $150,000 Porsche. But as much as comfortable they are very comfortable to sit in. Perfectly fine for my relatively big build. I'm 6 feet tall, 200 pounds. But to get in and out of the car, I mean, that's quite something. The side of the seat is really, really hard. They are covered in leather, but it's not like when you sit on it, that they just crumble like a cushion. No, the carbon fiber shell is really there, and you have to jump above it. If not, like it's kind of something to get in and out of the car. But it's definitely the biggest eye catcher of the interior aside of the color in this one. Everything else is pretty basic, I would say. BMW 3 Series, and in a good way, I guess. This one, of course, is all leather wrapped. So on the base 3 Series, the main problem you have is that a lot of plastic are exposed on the door, the dash, all those things. Once everything is leather wrapped, it looks very nice, and the ergonomics around the cabin are good. The entertainment system is fast, and you can very quickly get what you want from the car. One of my gripe here is coming from the LCD cluster. I'm using it on a regular basis. I really like it. You have that M mode version that looks a little bit like a jet fighter engine, which I have on right now, and the regular cluster. But we don't have a classic mode. I would have loved to see a classic mode where you press a button and we go back to regular needles. They could have even made something fun, like an old E36 M3 style, E30 back in the day, old school dash. Maybe even for the track mode, choose a dial, on the old school BMW cluster. That would have been super fun. Here it's like ultra modern take on it. It takes a little bit of time to get used to it, but a lot of information displayed, and it's actually very useful. I mean, once you learn what is what, you have a lot of information available. It's very, very readable, and that's not a problem. Looking at it right now, I'm seeing my steering was a little bit too low, and I just realized that the steering adjustment is actually manual on the M3. Again, that car is around almost $100,000, so you would want to have every gadget available to you for that price. But I guess let's put it to the lightweight specification of the manual steering. That's why I guess you would want that. To get back about the interior, it's a nice place to be. It's right now I'm gonna try to put it in quiet mode. There you go. It's quite comfortable to drive around every day. I think the suspension are firm, but they're not catastrophically firm. And for that kind of car, I guess that really makes complete sense. You hear a lot of noise in the engine, but not in a bad way. I mean, you can feel, the car and around it. So I mean, I guess that's a plus. Let's try to get on that on-ramp here, see. Car really goes. I mean, it's really fast. What's funny is that the tires are very sticky tires. The compound is pretty soft, and today it's a little chilly outside in Miami. Not cold, but chilly, and you can already feel that the tire don't have the maximum grip, and the car moves a little bit, which is fun, and I'm sure traction control will be able to handle any kind of issue in that department. But there's a lot of power. One reason the car is a little bit twitchy, I think, is that the steering is very sharp, very quick, and a bit too quick almost. Like you barely touch it, the car really goes left and right. It's not very heavy, so it's medium, I'd say, in terms of heaviness. And with the quickness, it's almost hard to launch the car, accelerate full tilt and keep it really, really straight, because you're gonna slightly move, in your seat. There's a couple of things on the road that gonna be moving the tires of the car, which feels not really, unreal. So it gives it that nice, quick to react feel, but that's annoying me a little bit. I guess maybe you get used to it by driving over a long run. And right now I'm on the highway. It's not like I have to be careful of any input on steering wheel. I can jiggle it and the car stays straight. So it's not really a big problem, but I feel that definitely very sharp steering. So if you like that, I think you will enjoy that steering. It's I guess if you go in a very twisty areas, you can really toss around the car very well. I think it's just a tad bit too cheap for me. I would prefer it a little bit less quick. Again, still very, very enjoyable. It's not like I went drifting with the car, so I can't tell you how it is at the limit, but very cool. The main spec on this car is really that it is the manual stick shift version. And what I saw right away when I got in it, what was pretty cool, is that it's exact same shift knob that they have had on the M3 for years. I mean, I think that shift knob, that shape, that kind of pear shape, they've had for, I don't know, the past 30 years. So that's really cool. They not come up with another, new modern style gimmicky design. They are going back to a nice manual. You have the nice M logo. It's very old school. So everything else I would say in the car would be completely new, but the shift knob itself look like they took it from a car 30 years ago and put it back in the best sense of way. And to go with it, you also have a gearbox that is extremely smooth. It's a bit long throw, I'd say, for an M3. I'm sure they kept some space there to offer a more extreme version, with a short throw, competition package, even more limited edition in a few years, because you could really use a more short throw, a little bit more manly gear change. But again, the M3, I think, is to drive around every day and have some fun, and this one you can have a lot of fun. So I think it fits the character very well. You can really go around town playing with the gearbox, not struggling at all with it. You can move it around with 2 fingers. With the rev match, it's super easy, very enjoyable, smooth as butter. I mean, you will enjoy playing with that gearbox for a while after buying the car. A bit of an arm ramp here. Let me try to push it a little bit. I mean, lots of power. Again, the steering is always a little bit sharp for me. When I start pushing the car, I feel like, whoa, I really need to watch the steering and be very much on top of it, because the car is very quick on its feet. And the suspension are not that hard. So you have a little bit of a body roll there when you start to go a little fast. And plus, with the traction in the back and the tires being a little slippery when it's not warm enough, you have to be a little careful. Again, I'm sure the traction control will take care of it. If it slides a little bit out, I'm sure the M traction control have your back there. So about the stick shift, I think it's pretty cool because it has gear match, rev match. But if you want to do your own rev match, it feels to me as the system does not interfere. Like right now, I'm gonna try one automatic gear match and a manual one. So you can do your own rev match, and it almost feels like the computer detects it. I don't know, I've not pushed that feature too much, but really not a problem. In terms of the pedals, I struggle a little bit at the beginning to find the proper driving position in order for me to handle the clutch properly. The thing with this car, again, you are still high up and your legs are not really extended forward too much. Your legs are I'd say a 30-degree angle down. So it's pretty much straight down as far as sports cars are. And if you're not careful with your position, when you push the pedal, it's hard to explain, but the top of your feet almost end up touching the upper part of the dashboard there. So if I push it really hard with the wrong position, really my feet, my toes were caught up underneath the instrument panel system, like the front, I don't know, the whole front part of the car there underneath. and my legs are a little long, my arms are a little short, so I really struggled to find the right position. Now I found it, and I got used to the gearbox, was fine. But for the first 2 days, I was like bitching at it. I say like, what's going on? I can't find the right position. The pedals are very light to use. I could not find the right setup. Now, 2 days later, actually I'm gonna save it again. My seating position is good. Everything around me feels really fine, and I'm really getting used to the whole shape, and access to everything is nice. The way you rest your arm on the armrest and able to just put your hand on the shift knob is perfect. You can really rest there, driving nice and peaceful, and change your gears. Great position, great way to drive. I'm gonna try putting sports mode again. There's a little stretch here. Okay, track mode on. There we go. Braking. Whoa, nice. My brain hurts a little bit. I mean, it is really fun, really fast, and you're feeling like you are controlling a pretty powerful ship. I mean, this thing goes. I'd say that's almost my main problem with the M3. You feel like you're buying a car to drive every day, and this thing is really powerful. I mean, you could really get in trouble with a car like this. You have to be able to control yourself, or you could get into some big problem with law enforcement, or even your health with this car. So when I was younger, I always dreamed about buying an M3, and I think at the time they were less powerful. But the M3 that they are producing now, they really are super car. They really are really fast car. I hope the electronics can back it up for a lot of people who are not used to it. But I mean, don't buy that for your kid who are 20 years old, unless they have some like serious like track day experience. I mean, you want to like go to the track, go buy some track day training to handle a car like this. Not that if it goes wrong, you're really gonna be able to control it, but to be aware that there could be problems, and you can't just apply that power without thinking about the consequences. You know, this is a serious car. So I saw myself having, sometimes a little bit too much fun with it. And one of my favorite cars to go around town is really the Golf GTI. I think it's a ton of fun. Already very fast car, but you stay within the limit of okay in terms of trouble. This is another level. You have to be really careful and cognizant of that fact. And again, the car feels so easy to drive. Everything is so effortless. You could get caught up and not realizing exactly how fast you're going. Like right now, I'm cruising on the highway above speed limit, not going crazy, but still, it's so effortless. In any other car, an SUV, whatever, I would think, okay, I'm driving already pretty fast, I need to dial down. But here, it feels like nothing. Everything is absorbed so well. The suspension are really good on this car. I mean, you can definitely drive this every day, no problem whatsoever. And again, the visibility is just awesome. You're high up, everything is so easy. That's the M3 is, again, in my book, it has always been, but it's again one more time that effortless sports car that can do it all, and that is extremely fast. They are getting more expensive every year. This one I think is $96,000. It's not exactly a cheap option, but you do get that dreamy experience that people are looking for, people want. I mean, it's pretty cool, all the luxury amenities inside and how fast it drives. It's pretty awesome. One little note I actually realized right now, I did not realize before. I'm cruising right now, I'm at 75 miles an hour, 6 gear, and I'm around 2,800 RPM. I mean, they could have really got like an overdrive gear there, at 7 speed to go on the highway for long distance, because if you're cruising here, you keep at 3,000 RPM. I mean, it's kind of high, to go on long trip. You could, save some energy there, and you could also save yourself some noise, having a car that's a little bit more silent with an additional gear. So I think that'd be a good idea. But again, seven speed manual in an M3, I think everybody would be in uproar. But I think that in this day and age, it would be a good move to do that. What else can I talk about? I mean, I did not really push the car so much. I drove around, and it's really a pleasure. I was comparing it to, okay, do we still need to buy a car like this nowadays when you could buy, a Tesla Model 3, which is faster, cleaner. It's pretty exciting to drive, if you ask me, with a very low center of gravity. It's an experience in its own, okay? You want an M3, but believe me, the Tesla Model 3, the performance version, it is really fun. You're seated low in the car. Again, low center of gravity, it goes fast, brake fast. Very, very cool. Here, I think you're already buying the M4, first because you like the design overall, inside out, and for the auditory experience, the engine noise, the exhaust noise. And here I think they did a fantastic job. First, you have a bunch of different modes that you can activate. And on top of that, the whole, like the induction, I don't know if that car has a dynamic motor mount. I did not do my homework, so I don't know. But let me tell you, when you are at idle and you're playing a little bit with the gas, you tap on it, you feel like the car really moving around. So either it has a really stiff engine mount or dynamic, but that alone, I mean, it's a little treat. You stay at the light, you tap the pedal, and you feel the car vroom, vroom, moving like old school. That's super nice. And of course, every time you accelerate, you are one with the machine. You really feel all the noise, and you have to deal with the engine revs. And on this one, even better, you have the manual transmission, so you have a lot more to do, a lot more to hear. So it's interesting to see in this day and age who would want to buy an M4, who want to buy a fast electric car. I guess if the M4 has always been on your radar, you always wanted one, it makes sense to get one. If you just had the previous generation, which I drove also, and you've never had a chance to get into electric car, I'd say you owe to yourself to really check it out. It's quite fun, unless you have to go to road trip all the time. But if you drive in the city, do a lot of commuting, I mean, the Tesla is a really a good alternative to it. Personally, I think the design on the new M3, M4 with the front kidney grille being big and everybody upset about it, personally, I love it. My take on it is very simple. Every time a new Rolls Royce come in, the Rolls Royce coupe or convertible, everybody think, oh, they're so cool and they look great. Think about, what about if that car had a Kia badge on it? No offense to Kia, but let's say it had, a cheap newcomer brand on it. I don't think you would find those cars so pretty. It's really all about the badge. And with BMW, it's always the same. They come up with some upsetting design every time. And because they are BMW, it looks good anyways. And guess what? When you are putting the M badge on it, it means you're gonna have all the big rims, the flush wheels with the body, flared arches, everything painted, body kits. And when you add all those things together, you can say anything you want, the kidney grille, who cares? It's really the overall stance about how the car looks. It doesn't bother me one bit. When I see like a 428 base car with 17-inch rim and nothing on it, yeah, I think it's upsetting because, yeah, it's not the best design, but we'll get used to it. And that's gonna be a trademark of BMW. And why not? Personally, I'm more upset when I see them putting like headlight or tail light that looks straight out of mainstream, that copy everybody else. It's like, oh, I see that on a Toyota Camry, that just everybody's doing those thin tail light. It also takes me some time to get used to it. So those curved design, really, the value of design for me is really about what the car represents in terms of an enthusiast point of view. Is that an important car? And this definitely is. It handles like one, it behaves like one. So at some point it could look like anything. Like, I think a good example also is the Tesla Cybertruck. When they show it off, people were thinking like, are they kidding? I mean, is that really the car you're gonna sell? Because it looks so freaking cheap, feels like it's gonna fall apart. And you guys did no design on it, and they hated it. And they did not even, a lot of Tesla fan guys did not even want to pre-order it. 2 days later, they realized the whole thing about the exoskeleton, about why it has this shape, because it was engineered that way, and there was plenty of reasons behind it. And suddenly people start thinking, oh yeah, okay, it makes sense. And in the end, everybody said, who cares how it looks? It's really not about how it looks. It's a matter about, this is a Tesla, there's the engineering behind it, it's gonna do something specific, and who cares about the design? There are some cars that look better than others, But bottom line, really think about that. You can have the prettiest car, if the specs are shitty, if the car is shitty, it just doesn't sell either. So good cars, good design or not, they'll sell. And I can tell you the M3 will sell. And that's fast. That car, literally, with the amount of power and the easiness of tossing this thing around, you really can drive it like a motorcycle. Like you can zigzag around. And the cool part about it is, again, it's not too much in your face. So it's not like people are really gonna give you the finger when you drive around. You still think most likely you're driving a regular base 3 Series. Most people don't even realize about the rim, the extension, wheel arches and stuff like that. So even if you have the M3, the sedan version, even better. And also the fact that the car is so smooth. You don't feel as much as you could in a car like this. Again, I think they're gonna bring a lot more aggressive version of the M4. Again, the competition version, which I think comes, at the same time as a base stick shift. But they're gonna bring a lot more, GTS version, CSL version. I think there is a lot more potential for this car to be like an aggressive beast, like what people expect when they think about the M3. While this is really a nice, comfy car, you can go super fast with it, but it is so easy to drive. When you downshift, literally have to be careful about it, because when you start applying power, traction control here, literally lit up a little bit. The amount of grip with the tire is amazing. The way you can toss the car, you feel like you are again, driving a motorcycle. Very impressive. Very impressive. You can really drive like a complete a-hole with this car, no question. Okay, here we're gonna be stuck in traffic for a little bit. And again, the visibility is absolutely stunning. In traffic, in the city, to go around, it is so easy. You turn your head, you have glass everywhere. Even in this coupe version, so easy. Same thing for the gears, so easy to switch gears. A perfect car if you wanted to learn how to drive stick shift in a sports car. Let's say, you had sports car before, you're ready for the power, but you never had stick shift. You can totally buy this and learn on that car. It would not be a problem at all. It's a very, very easy stick shift to control. Okay, here we are stuck in traffic. So one thing the car does not have, and that I'm always upset about it, is that when you are in a stick shift car, you don't have the stop and go cruise control you would get in an automatic car. And these days, in big cities where you're doing a lot of stop and go, as much as I love the stick shift, I would really, really miss that option if I had to commute and get stuck in traffic for quite some time. The stop and go system, especially the one from BMW, is a really, really good system. And when you're in traffic like this, you really feel like, okay, I'm going for my canyon run right now. Let's go. But so you can tolerate the stick shift. I'm gonna do something about it. But if you know that at the end of traffic, you're just arriving at the office, you would have done all that for nothing. It's a tough take to take. So if you're living in a big city, I would certainly advise to go for the automatic. Honestly, as much as I love it, traffic is it's not difficult. It's just that these days the stop and go on the automatic transmission is really a cool thing. Especially you're gonna want to check your phone. You're there on traffic, you're stuck, you have nothing else to do, and with those automatic driving assistants, you can do that a lot more freely. Let's not pretend that we're not gonna do that. I think that's about it. I've been talking for 26 minutes now about the BMW M3 and all my impressions. I'm gonna try to think about a couple more things. So one thing on this car, again, it is so polyvalent. You can do so many things with it. It's not a it's not a hardcore sports car. So I think getting this in a convertible would make a ton of sense. I don't think the convertible is out on sale right now, but right now, carbon fiber roof, great space on top there to put a helmet, go to the track. But for most people who are not going to the track, the convertible is making more sense because you're buying still a car that's not a hardcore sports car. You're buying something polyvalent to go to, to pick up your kids, to go to work, driving it every day with a trunk. So I think the convertible is a better choice, and usually we see a lot more convertible M3s, at least where I am here in Miami, and it makes more sense. So I would personally buy the convertible unless you plan on driving very aggressively, but even then I really would have a hard time to justify it. Sure, you would have it less weight, higher up in the car, lower center of gravity, so it feels a little bit better, sure. But honestly, when you drive the convertible every day, it's not like you're going to be feeling, oh man, I'm so upset because the car does not handle 40 pounds lighter than the coupe. You're never gonna say that to yourself, so think about that. And unless you keep the car for like 30 years, those cars are gonna lose value like crazy anyways. So it's not like you're gonna say, oh, I want to buy the coupe stick shift because the resale value is gonna be great. If you want good resale value on this car, you have to barely drive it, and the resale value will be good in like 30 years. So it's not like a collectible you buy, and I would strongly advise to lease this car. I know the tip here, the best thing for the M cars is to pre-order them before they come out on the showroom. That not only are the first one to have it, which is cool, but that's when you're gonna get the best lease rate, because the resale value is gonna be really high, because a lot of people will not have pre-ordered, and they don't want to wait. So they're really gonna want to get one as soon as possible. So you can usually do pretty good if you pre-order the car. So for these cars, you're gonna lose a ton of money anyways. If you want to be smart, the smartest enthusiast, BMW enthusiast, they pre-order their car before they even come out of the factory. I'm sure some people already have deposit on the GTS, on the CSL model. Sure, you have to wait, you don't know when the car is going to be coming, but you can make deals there, because when they arrive in the showroom, they still have a great resale value. The longer you wait, let's say you don't want to be a first adopter because you say, oh, the first generation are not, they're going to have glitches and stuff. You always have people on the forum saying that, like, oh, I want to wait because, the first few years are not good. Sure, then you buy the last generation and you pay more money because the resale value is not as good, and it's not as exciting because you can see ton of those cars outside the street. And let's be honest, you buy a car like this because you want to be having the latest and greatest things, because if not, you can buy a used M3 and it's gonna drive pretty close to this one. I mean, you really buy the new thing because you want the latest thing in town. They don't drive so dramatically different, so think about that. So I would buy the convertible. I would try to pre-order it now so that I get a pretty good deal on the lease when it comes in. Unless you want to have the back seats, to carry kids and people around. But on the 3 Series sedan, let's be objective, the back seats are not that big. So it's not like you're going to be able to carry a lot of people for a long distance. Again, I think you should buy the convertible car. And my 2 cents. And if you are not aware of that, some people very often report cool stuff on the convertible, that when you open the top, all the weight from the top is actually on top of the rear tires. So your 0 to 60 are actually better sometimes, because even though the overall weight of the car is more, you have more pressure applied in the back of the car. So that gives you a little bit of another fun characteristic on the car compared to the coupe version. I had a bunch of beeping on my GoPro. I don't know if you guys are still with me or already lost someone there. If this thing stopped recording again for some unknown reason, which usually always happen. Let's see, I'm trying to merge here. Okay, let's see what's going on with this. It says, no, 31 minutes. I think you guys still on with me. What else I can rumble about? Can rant about the car? So steering, the seats, coupe, the driving. What else? Tell me. I think we have to do live event for me to get some ideas about what's going on, and to have a passenger reading me some question. Now, overall awesome car. I've always been a big fan of the M3 over the years. I own a E36 back in the days, which was a dream car for me. It was super cool. I was very excited to be able to get in the latest generation M3, and it's always the same. It's a car that's very accomplished. It's a landmark, just like the Porsche 911 is in its own term, and I think this is a fantastic one. In terms of engine, I don't know, some people are gonna bitch about some turbo lag, some sound that's not good. I really don't see how anybody can say anything's wrong with those cars. Ton of power, it's super reactive, the sound is pretty cool, it's more power than you will ever need, and it's not like you're driving a cheap car. I mean, there is a lot of engineering, lot of cool stuff happening here. I'm trying to go in this. I mean, it's pretty cool. And in terms of power, I mean, I don't see anything to say about that. So I did not say much about the engine, but it's really nothing much to say. It's really what you're expecting it to be, and more. And again, I must say again, here I was trying to merge a bit of people around, trying to apply the power. The steering again is a little twitchy for me. I was going around and the car was wobbly a little bit, and I almost feel like I'm gonna give the wrong signal to people around, like I'm about to apply power, but the car is like not super straight, and I feel people are gonna see my car wobbling a little bit like this, and that gives the wrong signal, and you could get in trouble for that, because people are gonna feel that they don't know exactly where you're going, and then you could get in trouble for it. That steering thing upsets me a little bit. I guess my hands are not as steady as they should, but I mean, I don't know, I'm trying my best. Again, it's just driving so fast, much faster than we should. So when you're at those speeds, it's tricky. I just wish this. I wish the steering was a little bit more firm, and it would make it less twitchy. I can apply more power, more strength in my arms. I would prefer to be able to control it more. I think this, and even in a different mode, sports mode, you put in sports mode, there's supposed to be some different steering weight, but I'm not a fan of that. But again, take it with a grain of salt. When you own the car, you really adjust to it. But for me, because I jump from car to car every week, sometimes there are features like this that annoy me. It's just a matter of to get tuned to it. It takes a little bit of time. So I don't want to say, okay, the steering is bad. It's still a wonderful steering. Just after 4 days now, I've not been able to really get the right amount of strength in the steering to feel like it's sharp without feeling the car. It's like, whoa, 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 where are you going there? Where are you going? And it's not like the wheels are getting out of control or something like that, but just soft compound tire, the suspension a little soft, you're going very fast. It's a lot going on. And maybe again, it's also part of the fun. You want to have fun controlling the beast. If it's too tame, then it's a little bit boring. Okay, so the engine, again, I didn't go too much through it because I love it. Interior, the seats, the noise, practicality. I think that's about it. Last note about the outside. Okay, I'm gonna say personally a few words about the outside. I already said the kidney grille, fine with me. In this color, with the rim that I have here, the carbon ceramic brakes, carbon fiber mirrors, it looks stunning to me. I mean, I've seen myself opening the front door of my house to look at the car parked in the front. I don't do that with every car. I do it with a few cars. This one I definitely did a couple of times. I mean, it's a good looking car. It's a really good looking car. So I mean, that's about it. Let's call it a wrap. M3 is a go for me. M4, go test drive it. Fantastic car. Thank you for watching. 36 minutes and 20 seconds. If you have been watching all that long, I think you have to hit the subscribe button and the thumbs up. If not, that's not fair, because I've spoken on the M4 for quite a while. I hope you enjoyed the video. Again, subscribe, thumbs up, even better, leave me some comments. I'll try to reply to you directly. You can follow me on my Facebook. Usually I try to post some images of the cars I drive in and try to reply to questions there as well. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you later on the channel. cruising in the M3. I don't know why I always call it the M3. For me, it's always an M3, M4. Ridiculous. Let's try to slow it down a little bit. Track mode. Rev limiter, and the rev limiter is so soft. You bring it all the way to the rev limiter, it's like butter. Holy smoke, that's fast. You could really get in trouble in that car, that's for sure. Rev match. Let's bring it to the rev limiter for fun. Now, rev limiter. And you have that blinking red light. It's really cool. It's a cool car. You out there, lucky guy who can afford it. It's an experience. Just be safe. Just be safe. It's freaking fast. If you're still watching, I hope you have clicked the subscribe button and the thumbs up. Really hope so. Been driving for 30 minutes in those seats that look really uncomfortable and which are not. They are perfectly fine. Again, for 100 grand, I would prefer them to be massaging as well, but still pretty good. Those are heated. Very cool car. You're still there? Oh, man. I don't know what else I can say. Suspension are really quite good. You're driving around, on the highway. Florida highway are pretty forgiving, with pretty good pavement here. But it's very comfy. In terms of noise, it's the usual noise for a sports car. It's not bad, not especially considered. Double pane windows. No, they're not double pane, of course. They don't want to make the car too heavy. You have big tires. It doesn't bother me, honestly, the noise there. See, what bothers me the most is that the car begs to be driven fast, and those seats are even a worst ally because it's a little firm. You feel really like hugged in. You feel like, okay, let's go, buddy, let's go. The car wants to go, but the car is actually pretty tame. You can really drive around in a tame way, but the seats, I think, are really not helping. They're really pushing you into trying to drive that car fast. I guess after a while it dies down. I guess for me the big thing is I only have the car for a few days, so I feel like, okay, let's really try to enjoy it as much as possible while I have the car. I really like it around 3,500 RPM. There is a good amount of torque. You good speed torque there. You can play with it. Slow down to 3,000 RPM, still decent amount of torque. It switched lanes and cut through the road like butter. I mean, like knife in butter. Very, very enjoyable to drive and balance the car around. Steering very sharp, like you have to, okay, I'm gonna control, think about the amount of strength you're gonna put in your arm, turn the steering. So you feel like if you are giving too strong an input, the car gonna go like, U-turn on you like on highways. Very quick steering. Again, I'm sure you get used to it. Not before I have to give it back though. But here we go. Here's a pretty decent on-ramp. Merging. High speed. Very enjoyable. Very responsive. Lots of feedback from the car. I guess we could talk, where would I put my $100,000? That's a $100,000 car. So you can buy a Porsche 911. You can of course buy a Tesla Model 3. It's a tough market to build $100,000, and why I don't like it is because the car in that market are cars that depreciates a lot. So they are really not good financial purchase. And it's not like you're a millionaire, you're buying a car like this, you know, it's not like car for millionaire either, so it's gonna hurt you a little bit financially. Personally, I would almost prefer put more money into it. Beauty of the manual transmission and preparing a downshift, that's nice. I'd say, my take is that if you drive a car every day to go to work, it's a little bit overkill unless you really have the mountain road to drive it every day. You know, you drive in a place where there are those kind of roads every day, you really gotta enjoy it. If not, I would buy a more mundane car and buy something more extreme. And I think the wise decision really, especially, would be to buy something that doesn't depreciate as much. So either you buy special edition, like almost even you can buy an older M3 limited edition, or you can buy, I would say, the Porsche GT3, which is, you know, it's a great car to buy. They are very expensive, but on the life of the car, like what they call like car hacking, it's a great purchase because you usually be able to resell those cars for almost what you paid for, sometimes maybe even more. So I like the idea of car hacking in terms of sports car because you're not going to be driving them so much. So think about that. I mean, I hate to rain on the M4, fantastic car. Again, if the way to get those cars is to get a good deal on the lease, you know, order them early. Sometimes you can drive those cars for, you know, $600, $700 a month. I mean, that's a steal. At that price, don't even think about it, jump on it. But if you have to pay $1,200 a month, which could be very easily the price for a car like this, if you're not having a good lease deal, and I'm saying not a good, if you just buy for the price that it is on paper, you know, that the MSRP is at the resale value 50%. Yeah, you're gonna pay, you know, $1,200, $1,300 a month. But if you are a bit more careful, buying it, you know, wisely, you can pay a lot less for those cars. So it's really something to think about, and that's where they make sense. If you don't make a deal, think about it long and hard because the depreciation is really painful sometimes on these cars. But would I buy one with my money? I think I would only buy if I would get a good lease deal. If not, I would not buy it because the depreciation is just too painful, especially if you don't keep the car too long. When you're going to resell that, you're going to have a ton of other cars for sale at the price. You're going to be outside the warranty. People are really not going to be into keeping these cars, and really not a fan of the depreciation on it. But this is like a super sharp car, so you almost have to consider that as again, buying a Porsche GT3, a Porsche 911. It's an awesome experience for the people we can afford the thing. Okay, 45 minutes. I think it's time to give up on that knowledge transmission M4. Thanks for watching, and talk to you later. Bye.